fatty, I do what I want.
I was going to expose you.
I know. So I choose to expose myself.
Please, there are ladies present.
It's showtime.
Today, we're going to be looking at a video from Andrew Esquire, aka Legal Mindset, and it's a real hoot. If you want some entertainment, check out his channel. He's pretty funny.
Make Americans breed again.
He's going to do a lot of talking about breeding, but it looks like breeding is just an excuse for him to talk about his favorite subject. Guess what that is?
Today, we're going to talk about an American breeding visa that can fix the birth rate crisis and bring things back from the brink in America and solve also many of the issues that are plaguing the country.
Make America breed again. What problems plaguing the country of America do you think are going to get solved by his idea here?
Of course, it's the Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney living over here in Asia.
The word is he's living in Thailand right now. He's one of those American men who like to travel Asian countries and live there instead of the United States for reasons.
And I hope all of you are having a wonderful day. This is, of course, the Fast Facts version, which is the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news.
Nothing in this video has anything to do with legal news.
I have a PowerPoint for you guys to enjoy here.
I can't believe the PowerPoint presentation has followed us this far into the 21st century.
Make Americans breed again. Okay, what's the problem? The problem in America, no babies. No babies.
Where are your babies? If it's such a problem, shouldn't you be making babies?
Societal problem. It's a problem that is not just America, it's many developing countries. It's many other countries that have very, very similar problems where their birth rates are dropping fast. And this is a chronic problem for any country because when you have this, you're going to have problems in the future with your economy, with your society. It is a massive, massive risk.
Why are people having less children? This is a survey of U.S. adults conducted October of 2021. Of the 43% of adults surveyed who said that there was some other reason other than just not wanting children, 19% have medical reasons that they will not be having children. 17% have financial reasons why they will not be having children. 15% have no partner. 10% cite age as the reason. 9% say the state of the world is their reason for not having children, and another 5% specifically cite climate change in the environment as a reason. And finally, the last 2% of this group, their partner does not want to have children. Which of these is Andrew's plan going to address?
So the question is, how do you turn this around? And we're looking for solutions to turn this around and make Americans have families again.
And the childless passport bro is going to tell us how.
So solution, right? And there's a male and female solution here, right? For the ladies and for the men. Well, there's a lot of very attractive foreign men and women, and there are American women and American men that would love to go and have, well, some breeding opportunities.
Everything in Andrew's world is framed through the lens of a sex tourist.
Here, same for the guys. We've got the Latin flavor, we've got Eastern Europe, we've got Asia, a lot of places that you can go to explore these new possible breeding opportunities.
Andrew, is this video just another excuse for you to promote your sex tourism?
Now, before you think this is crazy, you're like, Andrew, this is absolutely nuts, right? This is wild.
But is it Girls Gone Wild?
See the world's hottest all-real, all-naked girls going wild.
Well, no. Japan is already doing this. Japan already has a visa for future creation of an individual. Doesn't that sound lovely? Doesn't that sound cute? Future creation of an individual. A spouse or child of a future creation individual. So they're already doing this. Up to 2 years, you're allowed to come to Japan. You're allowed to go there. And you're supposed to be, at the same time, job hunting, looking for some sort of entrepreneurial job or engaging in some sort of other activity, right? So you're doing something. You're not doing nothing there. You're not idle. You're not homeless, etc., right? And you have to have a certain level of education, right? And you have to be able to support yourself. There has to be money to support them. Now, Japan's program is not perfect. Japan's program does have its flaws.
So the funny thing about this visa that requires a university degree and a regular income is that it's not just a visa to go to Japan and make babies. You can bring your spouse. This visa lets you bring your spouse with you. So it's not like you're making necessarily even Japanese babies. This visa also allows you to take your existing family with you. Not just a spouse, but children. I don't think that's what Andy's talking about.
In America, like with California rolls,
I can see why this man doesn't date in America if he thinks that the California roll is the pinnacle of all sushi.
everything better. We're taking over their version. We're making it better. And Japan, once again, very advanced country, does a lot of things right, but America can do it better.
And that's what he says when he's jacking off to his own reflection.
Let's tell you how I would plan on doing this. And by the way, Americans want this. We've seen with Asmongold over here, right? Thirsty for Gran.
All right, now you're making me uncomfortable. This feels like fetishizing.
We've seen this with people thirsty for the Korean male celebs over here.
Is he trying to make the argument that people are thirsty for foreign celebrities, so they'll go to foreign countries to make foreign babies, but they'll be American babies? Where is he going with this other than exposing his own perversions?
So the American thirst is real, 100%. This is absolutely something that Americans are clamoring for.
I don't understand the connection here. I honestly don't understand what connection he's trying to make. Is he suggesting that horny women want to import Korean men to impregnate them?
So here's the requirements. Here's my plan. Once again, this is the legal mindset breeding visa. I'm doing not as an April Fool's joke. This is a very real thing and will very much fix this. I've gone through these criteria, and as somebody who's lived abroad, who's dealt with dozens and dozens and dozens of different visa applications.
All for clients. All of them. All those visas were for clients. He hasn't been filling out multiple visas for himself. He's probably only done like 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, what are the eligible countries? Well, countries which do not pose a security risk. So
Here's the most recent list that you can find on the State Department website, and it looks like some of his probably favorites around here. That's a shame.
hello, CIA. How about you wake up? You stop, doing crazy stuff, woke stuff. You stop MK Ultraing people, and, you go and you actually collect facts on countries. So you go and say which are posing security risks, which are not.
Maybe he doesn't know that we already have this sort of designation because he doesn't trust the American government because the CIA.
So obviously we don't want anywhere where people are at danger or being trafficked. So that's the second one. These countries do not engage in trafficking. Human trafficking is an absolute evil, and anyone caught engaging in human trafficking should be jailed and thrown away for a very, very, very long time. Human trafficking is absolutely evil. So these things should be shut down right away.
So moving countries in order to have sexual relations to create new human beings is not human trafficking?
Next, this is for the breeding applicant. So we only need fit people in the country. We do not need overweight people. One of the problems in America is, and I just came back, is people are still overweight. A lot of people are still overweight. That's not okay. We need a health and fitness test, a low BMI.
I actually had to think about this one because it's very funny. So if we want to import someone to breed with them, they have to be physically fit. Apparently we can still be fat asses, but they have to be healthy.
Now, I know some people are going to say, this is just to get in attractive people. Well, these things tend to be correlated, right? Attractiveness tends to be correlated with better fitness, better health. So yes, you've got to get fit. You've got to get in shape. If you're not in shape, it's not going to work.
Please explain to me how this is different from an Eastern European mail-order bride.
You have to have a standard education. I'm saying at least high school. By high school, you've learned a lot of the important things for your life. You've learned the basic skills. You've learned math. You've got English. You've got science. You've got all the bedrock that you need to go forward. There isn't really anything that is necessary in university or can't be dealt with by technical training or apprenticeship.
As America improves sushi with the California roll, so we shall improve a breeding visa by requiring less education than the Japanese do.
And there's a lot of Americans that don't want to go to university now because it's essentially propaganda and they want to go work.
The lawyer says universities are propaganda, which is very interesting to me. Also, I had to cut out a commercial for a cybersecurity course because, that's legit.
With that, people are not wanting to go to actual university. They're wanting to go into some sort of training. They're wanting to go to work, and that's fine. Let's let them do that, and let's let them go outside and find people who are also very similar to them and have the same similar levels.
Same similar levels? Is this a Scientology thing?
Maybe they've gone out and become YouTubers. Who knows?
I roll.
And the next is a verbal English fluency test. They need to be at least conversational. This is important, right? We don't want people over here that don't have verbal English. I know there's issues with people being dyslexic, and we have to consider that for writing, but your verbal skills need to be on point. You need to be able to communicate.
No stutters, no lisps. Got it.
You will not be able to have a deep, meaningful relationship with somebody, man or woman, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to have a deep, meaningful relationship unless you have English fluency and the ability to converse. That is entirely important to fall deeply in love with somebody or have a relationship that lasts. And that's what this program is about.
You will never be able to have a deep, meaningful relationship with anyone unless you can speak fluent English. Got it.
This is not about coming in for a quick green card. This is not about any sort of exploitation. This is about finding people that are going to come over to America, create American babies, create American families, and stay with their partner. That's the important thing.
Says the guy who avoids America like the plague and lives in Asian countries to have sex with women, but definitely not to do any breeding.
Requirements for the American breeder, though that's the American applicant, right? So I'm putting them in that category. So there's the foreign breeding applicant, then there's the American. The requirements for the American host, right? So the American host has to have sufficient income to support the breeder.
I'm sorry, sufficient income to support the breeder. Is this a person or livestock?
At least 100K.
Fun fact, in 2025, 100K a year is a middle-class salary.
And has paid for all existing dependent children, right? So you have to have everything paid for. So if you have any children that are not fully taken care of and paid for, sorry, you can't do it. It's just not, you're not able to qualify for the program. So you have to have that sufficient money. Next, you have to have a clean criminal record. Okay. So if you have a criminal record where you're out there, you're doing bad things, whatever, not going to work.
I would love to know this man's definition of bad things.
Country physically to meet the breeder, to meet the person you're going to breed with and have kids with. So whether you're a man or woman, you got to go out there, you got to get on a plane, and you got to meet this person. Right? You cannot stay in America and do mail order stuff. That's exploitative. That's wrong.
Guys, it's okay. All you have to do is go visit her in her home country, and then it's not human trafficking anymore.
You're not actually in love with that person, right? That's a scam. None of that, right? You've got to go physically there, meet them. You got to got photos. You have to have proof that you're in love with this person.
Dude, that's already part of a green card process.
You got to show them messages. You got to show them backup. No marrying your cousin.
Why are you bringing family into this?
None of this scam marriage stuff. This has to be 100% legit romantic relationship for a deeper purpose than just coming into the United States.
Guys, this is about to get crazy.
All right. And I'm not going to limit this. We're not going to limit this for Americans.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the eugenics part of our argument.
Because we want our Elon super babies, right? We want our Elon super babies. So Elon, obviously, he's got more than one woman here in his life, and this could work with a lady or whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. We can be equal opportunity. If there's a female Elon out there, that can happen too, right? But we're not limiting this to one because we want all those American super babies in America. Once again, I think most people will only do one, but hey, let's leave the option open for Americans because they're American.
Elon Musk is an American, and what you are suggesting is that a person may choose to have a romantic and legal partnership with several individuals on different visas over a period of years. Or are you thinking about concurrently instead of consecutively?
Protect both Americans and foreigners, male and female. Every gender, every person will be protected here, okay? So this is something that's going to protect everybody. Everybody will be safe. First of all, at any time, either party can terminate the visa. So if anybody wants out of this, they can get out of this. The only thing is, hey, if you're the foreigner coming to U.S., if you terminate this, you do have to go home. You do have to leave. You do have to go home. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry. It sucks, but you got to go home, right?
That's how all visas work.
Within 2 years, you have to have a child together. Now, I'm not saying have a marriage because I believe a marriage, and I'm a religious person, a Christian specifically, and I believe marriage is between you and God.
If you're a religious Christian, where are your wife and kids?
And many people believe that as well, right? That's a very common belief. You do not necessarily need to go into the eyes of the state to have a kid, right? I get that. We're in a modern era. Things are different and things are changing. Okay. But you got to prove yourself to the country by having a child that literally gives you something linking you to the country, a reason to stay there, and also a reason to stay with the partner. Because once again, at any time this is terminable, so you've got to stay with that partner. The foreign applicant, the foreign breeder, can only apply for one visa per lifetime.
You said, and I quote, "But we're not limiting this to one because we want all those American super babies in America."
They have to think carefully. They cannot monkey branch. They cannot go to a different person. They have to stay with the person that they applied with.
This is another contradiction.
This ensures this is for a true romantic purpose and not for a scam. And this needs to be heavily enforced by ICE agents. We're hiring more ICE agents. Maybe Pokemon can advertise for ICE again so they are able to get enough agents to actually enforce this. We need way more ICE agents.
Who's we, Go East man?
Foreign breeder must be unmarried abroad. So they've got to have no husband, wife, whatever they are. They got to have nobody abroad. So there's nothing abroad. And there's any form of fraud is cause for immediate deportation and possible criminal penalties. So if they're lying about a husband or lying about children, that's not going to work. The American host is not financially responsible for any foreign dependent children. So if you have any children abroad, they are not responsible for those. The foreigner has to be up to date on their stuff there. If they're hiding those from you, if they're lying to you, that could also be fraud, right? So they better disclose to you all their situation, whether they're, secretly married or whatever else. They better disclose all that stuff, right? All that stuff better come out, right? Because otherwise they're going back to their country. Cap entry per year. So first you're going to want a pilot program, and then you're going to want to increase it over time. You're going to want to do very in-depth interviews to make sure these people are genuinely romantically in love with each other, and make sure there's no security issues like terrorism, which is what unfortunately happened in the issue with the guardsman, Miss Beckstrom, who passed away in America very, very recently. We don't want anybody who's a terrorist coming in, male or female. So we need a very good security vetting of both of these individuals. Trump's already signed off. I think he's got Melania here. Once again, he understands the ability to go abroad, find somebody, and get married, breed, have kids. I mean, this is something he knows about himself. So in my mind, he's already signed off.
Donald and Melania were introduced by a sex trafficker, and I was unaware that he visited Slovenia before their marriage.
And then this is a potential money printer. We've got The Bachelor, The Bachelorette meets 90 Day Fiance. These are all wildly popular shows that make a bunch of money. Guess what? The federal government can run this.
But if you asked him about the federal government as a whole, he would tell us it needs to be limited.
And they can make some money off of this. Instead of losing money, feds, you can actually make money and justify yourself and your existence. Isn't that crazy? Wouldn't that be good if we had this?
No, it's just crazy.
Running, and they were making money and it paid for the administration. The administration paid for itself. Wouldn't that be crazy? Well, we could do that. We got Big Ed over here. So we'll have that breeding version, right? Absolutely hilarious. Great comedy, great stuff. It'd be fantastic.
The administration, he thinks Trump should do this. He wants Trump to stop being president and start producing reality television.
Then we got a pilot program. I would like to nominate Asma Golden Gran, from Five Hearts Under One Roof, the actress for Gran. If you haven't seen the love between them, absolutely adorable. I love it. So cute. So cute.
Finally got a bit of free time now, huh? Yes. Look at how tense your shoulders are. Can you help me with my stance? I think it's catcher, right? Help her. It's catch, right? Oh, God.
We got to make it happen between these two and see what happens there. I've got a special Korean lady in my life I'd think about for this, but we'll have to see whether she agrees with me.
What, the fetish?
Got a special Korean lady in my life I'd think about for this, but we'll have to see whether she agrees with me.
Yep, his fetish. As the rest of the video is simply commercials, I think we can stop it here. So, what have we learned? I learned I forgot to make an outro.